Before we get into our main news stories, coincidentally leading with one on digital humans used in customer service, we want to confirm that we did indeed hear back from Air Canada, who told us that the chatbot that got them into the recent lawsuit was not generative AI. Our report yesterday was correct. I also received a tip from someone who should be a very reliable source that the chatbot that got Air Canada into this trouble was actually shadow IT, not implemented by the corporation's IT department, where presumably it might have gotten more controlled testing and implementation. Once again, I've given Air Canada the right to comment on this information, and we'll get back to you when we receive that. Why is this so important? Well, whether we like the idea of AI-driven service agents or any aspect of AI, we should be making our decisions based on the best evidence available and not just a good story. We're going to do our best to bring you the best information we can find, and if we do make a mistake, we'll own up to it. And now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Deutsche Telekom is using what they call digital humans for customer service and claiming great results. Mark Zuckerberg gives some insight into Meta's different approach to AI strategy in recent interviews, and Elon Musk is suffering quality issues on two offerings, which may have been rushed to market. All this and more on the Murphy was an optimist edition of #Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. First up, the next time you call customer service for your mobile provider in the US, you may end up speaking to a digital human powered by artificial intelligence instead of a real person. Deutsche Telekom, the parent company of T-Mobile in the US, has started using a digital human representative named Max for some customer interactions. Max is a computer-generated character that looks and sounds lifelike. Simon Grieve, an executive at the company that created Max, explains why they opted for this AI approach. Max looks very real, he says. He's obviously CGI because we don't want to trick people, but he's very high quality. We really focus on being as human-like as possible, but without feeling creeped out. Unlike a traditional chatbot, Max can make natural gestures and facial expressions and try to build rapport with customers. Deutsche Telekom says Max has been successful so far, resolving 10% more issues than their chatbot alone. However, you can still request to speak to a human agent if the digital human can't resolve your problem. Telecom analysts say this blend of AI and human service could become more common as companies look to reduce costs while maintaining person-to-person interaction. These AI service agents are getting better and better. We checked out the digital human that Deutsche Telekom is using, and it's pretty darn good. And major companies like Canada's Canadian Tire are implementing their own customer service applications in what appears to be a very controlled and responsible manner. There are links to all of these bots in our show notes at technewsday.ca. Elon Musk's new AI tool called Grok is making headlines again, but not for the reasons he hoped. The tool, touted by Musk as the anti-woke AI, has been generating bizarre fake news stories based on jokes posted on Twitter or X. One of the key issues may be that Grok isn't only anti-woke, it doesn't really cope with humor and satire very well. In a story about the recent eclipse, Grok published a news item to users with the alarming headline, "Sun's Odd Behavior, Experts Baffled." It claimed the sun was behaving unusually with no official explanation from scientific authorities. The confusion appeared to stem from Twitter users making jokes about the sun's strange appearance, like this one from comedian Michael Ian, "What the F is happening to the sun right now?" Grok seemingly took the jokes as face value and invented a baffling news story just a week after another erroneous story about the Iran-Israel conflict. While Musk has praised Grok as superior to woke AI from Google and others, Twitter's paid subscribers got an AI-generated fake news story this week instead of, well, the actual news. In the intensifying race to develop powerful artificial intelligence, Meta's CEO Mark Zuckerberg is, perhaps by necessity, taking a different approach. While the AI frontrunners like Google, OpenAI, and Microsoft are locked in what appears to be an arms race to amass more training data, Zuckerberg is taking a different direction. Having reportedly flirted with the idea of buying a publishing company or dealing with the lawsuits and copyright claims that are hitting OpenAI, Zuckerberg is talking about another concept. He calls it feedback loops. Instead of focusing on absorbing vast amounts of data, He's focusing on how people use and interact with data, something that Meta is perfectly poised to do. Zuckerberg says, the thing that I think is going to be more valuable is the feedback loop rather than any kind of upfront corpus. Having a lot of people use it and then seeing how people use it and being able to improve from there is actually going to be a more differentiating thing over time. But Zuckerberg's focus on iterative feedback over initial data is about more than just refining Meta's AI capabilities. He's outspoken that he doesn't want AI development to end up controlled by a few gatekeeper companies like Apple and Google, and have them exercise the control they have over mobile apps. Zuckerberg criticized how those companies can dictate what apps and features get released, and he says he doesn't want any other tech giants telling Meta what we're allowed to build when it comes to AI. And that's why Meta has open-sourced its powerful language model Llama to avoid having to get approval from closed systems owned by competitors. Zuckerberg wants feedback loops from widespread public usage to rapidly improve Llama rather than being boxed in. So while rivals focus on simply ingesting more data upfront, Zuckerberg is betting on what might be a more grassroots, feedback-driven approach he believes will prove more valuable in the long term. Now, there are going to be some pitfalls along the way. There are already reports that you can't shut down Meta's AI, at least not easily, and people may react to the learning that's going on from their interactions and behaviors. But Meta has confronted these types of issues in the past, and so far, they have survived the challenges, as people seem willing to give up their data and even their privacy for free access. And this strategy may indeed give Meta more control over its AI destiny amid rising competition from Microsoft, Google, and others. And I promise that I'll try not to do any more stories on the Tesla Cybertruck, but with sales softening and Musk reportedly now talking about a 20% reduction in Tesla headcount, he may want to face the reality that quality might be one of his issues. The Cybertruck was billed as an indestructible machine, literally bulletproof in Elon Musk's own words. But it seems even something as mundane as a car wash can turn this six-figure truck into an expensive paperweight. One Cybertruck owner on TikTok says that after taking his truck through an automatic wash, the massive center screen that controls critical driving functions like speed and the rear camera went totally black. Following Tesla's recommendation for a hard reboot didn't immediately solve the issue. Only after waiting 5 hours did the screen finally reset, with the owner joking, "Where can I get a computer that resets in 5 hours for work?" It highlights the potential downsides of vehicles grown increasingly reliant on computer systems and software. What was once as simple as a garden hose now requires putting a Cybertruck into a special car wash mode according to the owner's manual. The manual also cautions, do not wash in direct sunlight, and says failure to use car wash mode may result in damage that wouldn't be covered by the warranty. It's not the only pitfall that's affecting the Cybertruck's rugged image. Owners have reported rust forming on the stainless steel body, which Tesla says stems from failing to quickly clean off corrosive substances. And there have also been issues with the truck's accelerator pedal, prompting a recent safety recall from regulators. We covered that yesterday. So it's just a thought that maybe, instead of staff reductions, Tesla might divert some resources into design and quality control. Of course, what do I know? I'm not a genius or a billionaire. Hashtag Trending goes to air 5 days a week with a weekend interview show, and we're also on YouTube. Find us at our new home at technewsday.ca or .com, you pick. And you can reach me with comments, suggestions, or even criticism at editorial@technewsday.ca. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a terrific Tuesday.